folks, welcome back. uh, I'm still sick, but I'm getting there. My voice is still shot. At times I feel like it's worse, and at times I feel like it's actually a little better. So I did notice looking back at the last two videos I've done, that it is hard to hear me. So I can't exactly yell because that'll be bad in my voice. But I'm just going to do the best I can. I have the garage door open, so I have more lighting. So I hope that the board is a little more visible, less blurry. I've been doing research. The new arm that I ordered came today, and it is a little better because it bends in three places. But the three arms are the equal length together of the one that I was using, which was two arms. So it didn't really do much. So I have it mounted, and I'll post a picture in the comments. I have it attached to my camera tripod above the table, and thus you can see the board. So I do still have the let's not screw this up. Doesn't turn as easy as I want it to. I do have the mat folded over where I can use the part of the board that is up here, but I still don't want to have to stretch up here to do it. Plus it's upside down. This isn't upside down. So it's off board, can't see it, but it's there. Okay. Damage dice. Okay, so I didn't get the next turn going like I should have. The hands are drawn, of course, because that happens at the end of the turn. So I haven't rolled anything. Excuse me, so sorry. One thing I will say that also in my research that I have learned is the camera that I ordered was a 1440 P, whatever it is. I'm a noob at this. But it was only 30 frames per second. Up to, it doesn't say that, but it says it in the fine print, up to 30 frames per second. So had I known that, I would have bought the 1080p camera that was 60 frames per second. But I didn't know that. But that doesn't matter. I ordered a 4K camera because my wife gave me some info. So I have a 4K webcam coming that this board should be nice, crisp, and clear. And even if I have to jury rig stuff, I'm going to eventually get it to where I've got the camera mounted to something above the board that I can, and it's like on a hydraulic arm, and I can just bring it down to, an area of the board where, something's happening. Not just this board, but any game I'm playing, so that you could see better what's going on. But Matt, looking at my screen, it does look crisper and clearer today. That's probably because the outside lighting is assisting in that. But you can see the whole board. So you can see Africa all the way up to Leningrad. That is what I'm happy about. But I've had to, like I said, mount it to my camera tripod to get it high up enough over the board for it to do what I wanted it to do. So anyway, let's get this going here. So we need to roll for the Allied orders. The Allies get a 1. So the Western Allies have to do a mandated offensive. The Germans roll a 4, which gives them nothing. So they don't have to do nothing. Okay. Awesome. So, I think. Orders, action round. Okay, so we are ready to get this shindig on the road. I'm going to keep a battle chart out here close at hand. And like I've done in some of my videos, I'm going to do, I can't really do it without tipping it over here. I'm going to advertise a yummy product. This is Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Baja Blast. For all you folks that still like your soda, and maybe you're battling some form of diabetes and you have to drink the zeros when you do drink something, the Baja Blast flavor really helps to override the aftertaste that you get with the diet drinks. So it's quite yummy. Alright, so I didn't have the turn panned out or anything, because I felt like dog poo last time. Total War is going to come at the end of the turn, so all these cards are going to get shuffled into the main decks in these stacks. So the Germans need to do something. May play after Hitler takes command. You know, I don't think I want to wait for Hitler takes command. Or do I? So if I attack here, I can break through here. So there could be a big breakthrough here, Tarnople, and threaten Kiev. And then I could attack here, though the odds aren't great. The odds are better for me to attack Galatz. But then I have to halt my advance because it's a swamp, which means I have to leave somebody behind. Oh wait, there's only one army there. Never mind. Okay, so that's 3. This is 4. All right, here's what we're doing. We're gonna do it. So we're gonna play Fall Blah. Okay, I get +1 dice roll modifier against Russian forces this turn. Okay. So I get 5 combat markers. I think we're gonna assault the Allies in Bone. I need to inflict some casualties now while they're weak. My 2 weakened panzer armies are gonna assault. I really don't want to, but I've got to push them out of Minsk. Because if I could cut this force off, it'd be in great shape for the Germans at least. There's going to be a combat there. There's going to be a combat there. There's going to be a combat there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so that's the Germans' turn. So let's get their actions going here. There's no movements, so I don't have to execute any movements first. So the Panzer Corps in Tunis are going to assault the Allies. Even though I have 3 stronger Panzer Corps, the Allies have the advantage because they have an entire army. Alright, so I'm attacking a mountain, which reduces its, my cores are at 7+, so they're going to go down to a 6. Alright, so the Germans rolled 5, they're going to inflict 3 losses on the Allies. The Allied army is a 2, and they rolled 3, so they're inflicting 2 on the Germans. And then the American armored corps are inflicting just 1 more, so it's a tie. So there's 3 damage on each side. Ugh. so the British First Army is going to have to take a 3 hit. It's going to cost me too much to flip those U.S. corps. So the British First Army is going to go 1, 2, 3, and get replaced by a Commonwealth Corps. But Germans lose 3. Well, wait a minute. That's not smart. Don't do that, John. Don't do that. I'm losing 3. Oh, I have to because I can lose 3. Yeah, the army has to take the loss. Okay, but the Germans don't have to soak up as much. So I flip 1 Panzer Corps, and then the 1 remaining point nobody has to take. So it's a tie, nothing happens. I think the Germans feel good about that. It would have been to their benefit to push the Americans back to Constantine, but I think it's fine. All right, now this task force here, they're an 8 to 3, plus it's a trench. So the Germans are going to attack. So they're on the 6 to 8 column, which goes down to a 5. So it's 5 to 3. Oh, the Germans rolled a 2. So they, even with their +1, they're inflicting 3 damage. The Russians are inflicting 3 damage. So it's a tie. And the Germans get nothing other than attritional damage. Alright, here's the important attack for the Germans. Alright. So this is 8. 8 on 5 with a corps in support. I got +1. Oh, it went good for the Germans this time. So, Tarnople is not urban. 8, roll 5. Even with the +1, it does nothing. So I'm inflicting 5 damage on the Russians. The Russians roll a 1. So their mechanized corps is only inflicting 2 damage on the Germans. Now we will roll for their infantry corps, which is nothing. So this is brutal. The Germans don't lose anything. The Russians lose 5 points. So the army's going to flip for 3. So there's only 2 left. I have to lose the corps, which is 1, and then the other one's gone. So they have to retreat 2 hexes. So 1. I could retreat through here to move on, but then the Germans will take Kiev. I have to block Kiev, so I'm going to retreat and I'm going to defend Kiev. So I don't want the Germans in Kiev. So the Second Army will advance into there. The German First Panzer Army is going to go 1, 2, into Vinica. That way, next turn, they will be able to launch an attack either direction that they want to. Alright, because that was the 11th Army that was there before. I don't think it matters because there's a German trench there. We'll put the control marker there. Alright, So German panzers could advance 3. So I can go 1, 2, 3 up to Pinsk, which would almost cut them off. You know, I've really got to do something I got to do something bold against the Russians for the Germans. So I'm not going to advance to Vietnam. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 into Pinsk. Okay. Or do I want to go 1, 2, 3? Either way, that's still there. So they're not out of supply unless I can kick them out of Minsk. So I think that's what the Germans need to be swinging for. All right, now. Minsk. This is 6 on 2 and 2 fight with Urban. So it goes down to a 5 for the Germans, the German tanks. Oh, it's going to be a bloody battle all the way around. All right, so both sides are inflicting. So no, the Germans are inflicting 5. The Russians are inflicting 3. Okay. So the Russians need their corps to roll a 6 to not lose the fight, and they did not. So the Russians are going to inflict 4. Germans are going to inflict 5. So the Germans, I'm going to say 4th Panzer Army is going to take the first brunt of the damage. I don't have to take anything else. The Russians are going to lose 5, so we're going to lose the army, which is 3. And then I think I'm just going to knock both the corps down 1. Alright, so we only lose it by 1, so we only have to retreat 1. So I'm going to retreat into the 4. Oh wait, there was a force shift too, wasn't there? Nope, there wasn't. Forces don't affect combat. Okay, so that will push me into there. Which now blocks. So these armies are now out of supply. When the Russians get a turn, this next turn, we will figure out what we gotta do. Oh, here's the little chart for the iron and ore. Okay. So that was a good turn for the German player. Now, the Russians. I'm actually halfway tempted to play Soviet reinforcements now and get those 6 tank armies so that I can possibly break through there. I can also follow it up with Siberians. This could be a good turn. So industrial evacuation is in effect now, because this is the 4th turn. Okay. So I can play this. Oh, but it's not going to get me an attack. I can't. I need to attack. I need to re-establish communications with those armies. So let's make sure that what happens if I'm out of supply. Okay, out of supply, can't strategic. Can't take reinforcements, replacements. I mean, they have their movement reduced by 2, and mechanized units are treated as non-mechanized. They play 1 ops per unit to activate. So it's just like limited supply. If they are involved in combat, they cause a column shift to the left that's attacking or defending. So it's actually 2 column shifts effectively. Ooh. Okay, so that is going to hurt the Russians bad. So to activate these guys is going to cost me 3 points. I have to do it. So Stalin orders the Soviet armies to try to escape the encirclement. So I'm going to take 5 actions. So this stack is 3 guys, so that's going to cost 3 right there. I don't really care about the cores. I don't have a whole lot of reserve left if the Soviet armies keep taking losses, though. That encirclement actually was huge. I think now I'm to the point where the Russians need to start doing what I do in 41, and that's just hightailing it east, because there ain't a whole lot left to defend. These guys can go 1, 2, 3 and escape to there. I can leave 1 of them behind. So yeah, we'll activate that. These guys are going to go 1, 2, 3, which will break those controls and reestablish contact. Oh, I can't get there. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I can get there. These guys can get there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Movement's reduced by 2. To 2. To 2. Okay. Okay. That. Oh gosh. So that means the cores can go 1, 2, but then they can. Okay. That gets me in supply. All right. So we're gonna move 2 of these guys first. So 1, 2. Removing these 2 control markers. They will leave behind a core in Bialystok. These guys are going to go 1, 2, which lifts the out of supply because they have supply through here. Oh wait, these guys are not out of supply anymore either. Now, I think if I'd moved them first, no, I had to move them first to reestablish contact. Okay. That's about the best I could do. Then I'm going to start playing Soviet reinforcements to shore up the lines, unless the Germans cut me off even more. All right, so second action. German's hand's not very good. Germans also need reinforcements. So that's actually never going to get played until I'm ready to play it as a reinforcement card. So none of my guys are out of supply yet. I'm not going to waste that yet. Okay, I'll play Krim for 3 actions. Going to do 1 and 2 combat here at Galatz. I just realized they're out of supply. They're out of supply. Oh crap. All right. So, German 2nd Panzer Army is going to have to get rolling here. Alright, so that's my 3 actions. Alright, so movement happens first. So 2nd Panzer Army is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So that returns Brest-Litovsk to German controls and eliminates that. I don't want to join up with 1st Panzer Army just yet, because then they could try moving, pulling something funky. They could attack also, because they do have a full strength combat force. You know what? I'm going to move into that hex, into Minsk. That lifts the out of supply. So they were, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Yeah, I need to be there. I want that to be that space is troublesome. All right, now combat. Going to assault. The Romanians are seeking revenge. So this is 6 versus 8. This is 8 versus 3. And then we'll count the cores in here later. Oh, it's not going to be a lot of casualties. It's a swamp, so it shifts. So the 6 to 8 goes to a 5. I'm only inflicting 2 damage with my armies. The Russians are 3. They're inflicting 2 damage. Right now, let's roll cores. So it's 3 versus 2. So it's actually 2 versus 2 because of the swamp. Again, atrocious. So both sides lose 2 points. Romanians are just going to flip the core, and the Germans are going to flip a core. And the Russians will flip and lose a core. And we hold Galatz. All right. 29. Okay, this is a slower turn. All right, so the Russians are going to start trying to build up some defensive lines. So I'm going to place over the reinforcements finally. So I get the 1st and 6th tank armies, which is cores. sizable. They are the same strength as German Panzer Corps. So that gives them a kick. So if I gather them into 2 armies, 3 corps each, that gives me 2 decent striking power task forces. Or I could spread them out into 2 each, but then they risk getting smashed. I'm going to put 1 in Venetian, because that's actually a big threat to overwhelm Second Army. And then I'm going to put the other one in Bobruz. That risks all those tank armies coming down on my head. Well, I'm going to put them in Gomel. The only way to get to me, other than Maglev, is across the river. So, yeah. Alright, so that's the Allied turn. Germans. I've already said that that's going to get played. So, are going to play Italian Naval Sortie for 3 actions. I don't want to attack yet. I want to gather. I want to start gathering these armies back together instead of spreading them out. So that's 2 actions. Do I attack somewhere? These guys are still a threat. Actually, you know what? They want to kick them out of there. They're in supply, and that is a powerful attack force. I need to threaten to kick it out of supply again by smashing that hex there. They still have supply this way. But if I can destroy them and go 1, 2, 3, something like that. They still have supply this way. It's not really going to do me a whole lot of good. I don't want to give up Minsk again. I don't want to attack. Well, yeah, we'll attack. Okay. So, there's no movements. I want to conduct this combat first. So this is 7 on 2 corps. One of them is across the river. So they're going to shift. So it's 5 on 2 corps strength across the river. It's entrenched. So it's a 5, a 4, a 3. So it's a 3 strength German army. They got a good roll. You're inflicting 4. The Russian corps is inflicting nothing. So So that Russian core is smashed to pieces. I don't even have to involve their combat. So Soviet trench is eliminated. I'll advance into Bialystok with both of those. Okay. And then here, I'm going to attack the forest. It's going to be a slaughter. Russians are going to inflict 1 point of damage on me. The Germans are inflicting. Really? Yeah, they're inflicting 3, so that smashes them all. So the Russians are getting what? 1 point of damage? So yeah, nothing happened. So they're smashed. But I'm not going to advance. I'm going to hold my ground in Minsk. WWHD. What would Hitler do? Hitler would swing in, but I'm not going to do that because then I would end up cut off. Heck, even Guderian would probably swing through and occupy a bunch of hexes. But then I run the risk of getting cut off and having to reestablish contact. And right now I don't have a whole lot of mobility in my armies. So, yeah. So that was an ups. So now the Allies, we're going to play Siberians, Russians. It's a yellow event because Stalin is still in Moscow. So I get the 1st through 5th shock armies, which these are just simply large infantry corps. They don't absorb a lot of damage. They can only absorb, oh wait, I gotta come up real close. They can only take 1 point of damage, but they have a 4 attack. So I'm gonna put 3. I'm going to put 2 of them with the Southwest Front. I'm going to put 2 of them with the Corps in Vitebsk. And then I'm going to drop 1 in Mogilev, because that way the Germans can't just jump through hoops and get me here. Oh, and it's a yellow event. I get 3 actions. Alright, so, you know what? I'm going to withdraw that army. And even though I want to stay on the offensive, I want to play the long game here for the Russians, and I'm going to withdraw that army group, because that's 3 whole armies. I want to keep these guys there. But I want to move them up 1. But those Germans are keeping the German army in check in Leningrad by not weakening that force. Should I attack with somebody? Pull them back. So let's pull them back. Okay. So yeah, so this is going to be a retreat. So the Stalingrad front's going to pull back into Odessa. This force is going to retreat 1, 2, 3 into Smolensk. And then these two corps are going to go 1, 2 into Veliki Luki. I don't want to take the space from the partisans because they're screwing with the Germans, keeping them on limited supply. So that gives me a stable front with a counterattacking force behind the lines. Okay. All right, now Germans. I can't win by victory points because the Russians are just they're gonna just do nothing but get stronger as soon as total war hits. So playing this does me nothing. I'm going to take 2 actions with Hitler declares war as an ops card. So I think we're going to bring the 6th Army to the front. And we're going to move the Romanian German force up to Klotz. Or do I want to do that? They could hit me. I don't think I like that. I want to bring them down. Alright, so the 6th Army is going to go 1, 2, 3. I can't. 1, 2, 3. I can only get to Kovel. This force of the German 4th Army, I'm at 1, 2, 3, and they're going to join the 1st Transfer Army there. Alleystock has a marker. Or should I, or could I go 1, 2, no, I can't get there. Yeah, so occupying that space isn't going to do any good. Alright, allies. The Russians are going to play clearing the Scheldt for reinforcements. Or replacements, excuse me, replacements. So the Russians are going to get 4 replacements. Alright, I think the Germans are going to go ahead and do the same thing. They're going to get 3 reinforcements, replacements, whatever. Alright, the British are going to get 1 replacement, reinforcement, whatever. Because I need to replace the British Army. Oh wait, they're 3 turns away, but I do have corps I can replace. And I could push the corps into the reserve for strategic movements. Alright, so alright, Germans. Getting any Italian replacements is good. I could get Romanian, could get one of the Romanian armies back. Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna play this as Axis and get a Axis reinforcement, and I'll replace the Romanian army. All right, and then final, the Allies. We're going to play Casablanca's 3 actions. And the Russians are going to... Howdy. We're going to try to build a trench in Odessa. We're going to build a trench in Kiev. And just in case this line of corps fails, they're going to build a trench in Smolensk. Okay, so per the silly stupid trench rules, what is it? 1, 2, 3, it builds. 4, 5, 6, it doesn't. I think it should be like the strength of the army. So like there's a 3 strength army there, it should be 1, 2, or 3, it builds. If there's 5 strengths of army, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. If there's 8 strength there, they just do it. But that's just me. Alright, so that failed. Here, failed. Here, success, yay! So the Russians at least got entrenchments built at Smolensk. And that is the end of the turn. Alright, so there's no out of supply effects. Nobody's out of supply. There's limited supply. So limited, you don't lose anything on limited supply. So I have it. They just can't do diddly without spending double points. The Germans still have full supply coming through Malta. So there's no attrition. All right, the replacements. So the British are going to get 1 point of replacements. I'm going to put I'm going to replace a British Corps. In the reserve box. So that's my 1 point. Oh wait, I didn't put the Germans 3 on there too. The Russians are going to get 4 points. So here's what the Russians are going to do. We're going to spend 1 point. And we're going to strengthen the Southwest Army back up again. Because they have been kind of like a savior. So it leaves me 3 points. So I'm going to spend 2 points and build back the Leningrad and Volkov armies. And I'm going to put the Volkov army in Moscow because the Allies are the Germans are getting a little too close for comfort. I'm going to put the Leningrad. That doesn't make any sense. We'll put the Steppe army. We're going to put them down here in the trench. Okay. And then I have, what was it, 1 point left. So I'm going to replace a Russian corps into the reserve box. Because I need, as the Russian armies take casualties, if I run out of corps, the army's eliminated. So I can't run out of corps. The Germans are actually dangerously low, so I've got to consider that for the Germans too. So the Germans get 3 points here. 3rd Panzer is going to get 1 of them. I'm going to spend 1 point, and I'm going to bring a Panzer Corps over. And then I have 1 point left. I'll strengthen the German 2nd Army back up. And then the, oh wait, that was the German. And then the Axis got 1. Forgot for the Romanians. So the Romanians are going to get their little Finland army back. And actually, Galatz has that. So I'm going to put them in Constanta. Okay. Trying to keep the Romanians in play because they have better armies than the Italians. So, all right, so that's all the reinforcements, the end of phase. There's no stand fast stuff, beach removals. So the drawing of the hands. So here we go. So here's Total War going in. Could be better. German, Total War. Now the Germans, when they go to Total War, says that they can go into their deck and they can get Total or Krieg and put it in their hand if they wish. Ooh, I should have played Hitler Declares War. Crud. Oh wait, did I not get the victory? Oh, I bet I didn't do the victory point for Minsk. Oh, if I'd done Hitler Declares War, I could have played Total Krieg right off the bat. I'm going to go ahead and get it. So the reason the Total Krieg is so important, from what I understand, is it adds 20 victory points to the Germans for free. But they can no longer win an automatic victory by you can't win by victory points. You have to win the war, okay, at the end of the game. They can replace their panzers. Right now they can only replace 2 panzer units, which I only did 2, right? Yeah. This increases it to 3. But I can't play it because I got to have 11 plus victory points. But I will go ahead and put it into my hand before I shuffle it. Last game I played solo. I played it two-handed without the CDG system. And I tried playing the game without Total Krieg because at the time the Germans were rocking and rolling. The Germans were at 18 victory points. I was only 2 away. I was like pushing Russia big time. I don't remember what all had happened because, I didn't document the game. But I was at 18 victory points. And I didn't play it. Chose not to play it. Before I knew it, the way the Russian hand played out, they got tons of reinforcements. Their tank army started rolling off the lines, and they smashed me. And the Allies landed in Africa early, like they did this king. And then they landed in France, the south of France, in I think it was the spring of 43. And by the summer of 44, I mean, honestly, by the winter of 43, it was over. The Russians were already pushing into German territory. It was a mess. So Totaler Creek gives the Germans a cushion. 6 and 7. The Germans do discard that one. That didn't give me diddly. All right, here we go. I want to keep Zukov in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, not a great hand, but I did get Soviet reinforcements. So this is going to allow me the 1st through 4th Ukrainian fronts are going to join the war. Oh, the Western Allies didn't attack. Oh, I did not do the orders. Oops. So that the Germans get their 11th victory point. So they can play Totaler Creek right off the bat next turn. Yeah, oops. That's a big oops. All right. So that is the end of the war. Africa's still kind of a stalemate unless the Allies can get. There's no American reinforcements coming. Avalanche. U.S. 5th Army. In. I could surprise land in Sicily. Or I could take Malta with the U.S. 5th Army. I need a beachhead. It's only one beach, though. Was Torch 2 beaches? Yep. Allied and U.S. beaches. Avalanche is Allied beach, so I would have had to have withdrawn. So I withdrew the wrong. So, crap. Okay. Between games, off video, I'm going to figure out how to play that card. Because I think I'm going to have to land in Sicily. And threaten their supply by capturing Syracuse. So if I capture Syracuse, then they have no, even with Malta. I still have to capture Malta. See, that's where I screwed up. That's what instead of these 2 beaches that I did, I should have landed here and took Malta out of the equation. I should have done it then and only landed over here. I should have put one little piddling U.S. Corps into Malta. That would have, oh man, that was a goofball on my part, I feel like. All right, so that is the end of the turn. I have a feeling this next turn is not going to be all that great for the Allies, but we'll see how it goes. Have a good one, folks.